Portugal had 6 shots. Colombia had 5. The goalkeeper on both sides played out of their skin. A goal was ruled out by VAR in the final minutes by the width of a bootlace. And the most watched man in world football, Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old, played 90 minutes and could not find the net. 0-0. Portugal versus Colombia. A match that felt like it needed a winner and never got one. And this morning the entire football world is asking one question. Whose fault was it? The coach who set Portugal up too cautiously? The players who could not convert? Or the 41-year-old who was supposed to be the difference and was not? Welcome back to Robert's Football Talk. I am your host, and if you are new here, subscribe right now because today we are breaking down everything that happened in Miami. The tactical decisions that killed Portugal's momentum. The goalkeeper who single-handedly kept Colombia in the game. The VAR moment that robbed someone of a winner. And the uncomfortable question nobody at the Portuguese Federation wants to answer. Is Roberto Martinez the right manager to take Ronaldo and Portugal to the World Cup final? Let us go. Part 1. The match nobody expected to be this bad. Let me give you the context first, because this result does not happen in isolation. Portugal came into the Colombia game having already drawn one match and won one match in this group stage. The draw was against DR Congo in the opener. 1-1. A result described at the time as one of the greatest World Cup shocks since the group had been announced. Portugal, European and Nations League winners, drawing with a team ranked 40 places below them. The criticism was immediate and it was brutal. Then came the Uzbekistan match. 5-0. Ronaldo scored twice. History was made. Portugal looked unstoppable, and the narrative completely flipped. Martinez was a genius. The tactical plan had worked. Portugal had been resting legs against DR Congo and then unleashed everything against Uzbekistan. That was the story. That was what everyone believed going into Miami. And then Colombia happened. 0-0. 90 minutes. No goals. Portugal second in the group. Colombia top. And a dressing room that, according to reports, was far from happy when the final whistle blew. Now, before we break down what went wrong, I want to ask you something. Whose fault was the Colombia draw? The coach? The players? Or was it just one of those nights where football refuses to cooperate? Drop your honest answer in the comments right now. I want to know what the Roberts Football Talk community thinks before we go any further. Part 2. What Martinez got wrong. Roberto Martinez is an experienced coach. He managed Belgium for 6 years and took them to 3rd place at the 2018 World Cup. He is not a man who makes decisions without thinking them through. But there is a growing feeling among Portuguese football analysts and supporters that his tactical approach against Colombia was either too passive or simply wrong. Portugal came into this match knowing that a draw was enough to qualify for the round of 32. That knowledge, that safety net, appears to have affected how Martinez set his team up. Portugal were not aggressive enough in the first half. They did not press Colombia high. They did not pin Colombia back. They allowed Colombia to play through midfield and build attacks with relative comfort. For a team with the attacking quality Portugal have, the first half performance was alarmingly quiet. Colombia had already beaten Uzbekistan 3-1 and DR Congo 1-0 coming into this match. They are a dangerous team. Luis Diaz was a constant threat down the left. James Rodriguez, even at 34, created moments with his vision and passing. And Colombia's defensive structure was excellent. Davinson Sanchez and Yerry Mina at center back were physical, organized, and difficult to break down. But the question is not whether Colombia were good. The question is why Portugal, with Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leo, and Pedro Neto available, could not find a way through. And the answer points significantly to how Martinez set the team up. Portugal finished the match with 6 shots. 6. In 90 minutes. Against a team they should be able to create multiple clear chances against. The XG, the expected goals number, was desperately low. Portugal were not creating high-quality opportunities. They were shooting from distance and hoping. That is not a plan. That is a prayer. Compare that to the Uzbekistan match. 5-0. High pressing. Quick transitions. Bruno Fernandes pulling strings from midfield. Leo tearing down the left. Portugal at their best are one of the most exciting attacking teams in international football. Against Colombia, they looked like a team that had been told to be careful. A team playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And when you play not to lose at a World Cup, sometimes the football gods punish you with exactly the result you were trying to avoid. 0-0 feels worse than a defeat. Because in a defeat, you at least know you tried. 0-0 feels like a missed opportunity that you chose to miss. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk right now because we are about to get into the goalkeeper story that is one of the most extraordinary individual performances of this entire World Cup. Part 3. Diogo Costa, the man who saved Portugal from something worse. Here is the honest truth about the Colombia match that every Portugal supporter needs to sit with. The scoreline was 0-0, but it could easily have been 1-0 or 2-0 to Colombia. And the reason it was not is because of one man, Diogo Costa. Fox Sports reported that Portugal's Diogo Costa was spectacular in the match, racking up 6 saves. 6 saves against a Colombia team that created genuine danger. That is not a goalkeeper having a routine night. That is a goalkeeper standing between his team and a defeat that would have made the group stage conversation much more dramatic. Costa saved from Luis Diaz, who found pockets of space repeatedly. He saved from Colombia's midfielders arriving late into the box. He commanded his area. He made the difficult look straightforward. If Costa has an average night instead of a spectacular one, Portugal lose. If Portugal lose, the conversation today is not about the draw. It is about whether they can survive the knockouts in second place behind Colombia. Diogo Costa saved Portugal from something that would have been much more damaging than a 0-0 draw. And he barely gets mentioned in any of the post-match coverage because goalkeepers who make saves in goalless draws do not tend to make headlines. But his performance deserves to be acknowledged properly. At the other end, Camilo Vargas in the Colombia goal was equally impressive. Fox Sports confirmed he made 2 crucial stops of his own to neutralize both offenses. 2 goalkeepers at the peak of their powers on the same night. That is one of the reasons the match ended goalless. The goalkeepers won. Part 4. The VAR moment. A winner that almost was. Now let us talk about the moment that had the entire Miami stadium holding its breath and then exhaling in disbelief. Late in the second half, Colombia thought they had scored. Davinson Sanchez connected with a cross, and the ball went in. The Colombia players went wild. The fans went wild. For a few seconds, it looked like Colombia had won the group with a dramatic late goal. VAR intervened. Fox Sports confirmed Davinson Sanchez was ruled offside by mere inches. Mere inches. The width of a boot. The difference between a historic Colombia group stage winner and a frustrating goalless draw was the position of a shoulder or a toe in a split second of movement. Sanchez was offside. Goal disallowed. Match stays at 0-0. Portugal advanced to the knockouts in second place. And Colombia, despite being the superior team across the group stage, finished first, but without the victory their performance in Miami probably deserved. That offside call will be replayed thousands of times. Not because it was wrong. It was the correct decision. But because football has a way of making the margin between winning and losing feel unbearably thin. And in this case, for Colombia and for Sanchez, it was as thin as it gets. Now let me ask you this. If that VAR call had gone the other way and Colombia had won 1-0, does that change Roberto Martinez's future as Portugal manager? Tell me in the comments. Because that question leads directly into the most controversial part of today's breakdown. Part 5. Is Martinez the right man? The debate Portugal does not want to have. Here is the uncomfortable truth that Portuguese football fans have been whispering about since the DR Congo draw and are now saying out loud after the Colombia game. Roberto Martinez has had 2 matches in this World Cup where Portugal have not won. 1-1 against DR Congo, 0-0 against Colombia. In between, there was the 5-0 against Uzbekistan, which looked convincing but came against the weakest team in the group. The 2 matches against teams with genuine quality both ended without a Portugal victory. The pattern is starting to look like something more than bad luck. Against DR Congo, Portugal allowed Wissa to equalize on the stroke of halftime with a header from a cross that the defense should have dealt with. The defensive organization in that match was questionable. Against Colombia, the attacking output over 90 minutes was 6 shots. In a must-score, must-win mentality match. NBC Sports noted before the Uzbekistan game that Martinez had been criticized for the DR Congo result and had described the criticism as unfair and unjust. He defended his players. He defended his tactical approach. That is what good managers do. They protect the group. But protection and accountability are 2 different things. And the accountability question for Martinez is this. Portugal have one of the most talented squads they have ever had at a World Cup. Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leo, Pedro Neto, Vitinha, Bernardo Silva available if needed. And Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever you think about his age and his declining physical capacity, still a player who scored twice against Uzbekistan and still commands respect and attention from every defense he faces. With that squad, 2 draws and 1 win against the weakest opposition in the group is not a good enough return. It is not a return that suggests Portugal are a team being prepared to go deep into the knockout rounds. It is a return that suggests a team being managed to avoid losing rather than being managed to win. And the knockout rounds do not allow you to play not to lose. In the round of 32 on Thursday, the 3rd of July in Toronto, Portugal faced Croatia. A genuine test. Croatia, who have been organized and physical throughout the group stage. A team with experienced players who know how to defend in big moments. If Portugal play against Croatia the way they played against Colombia, they will not win. Martinez needs to answer that question in Toronto. And the answer he gives with his team selection and his tactical approach will tell us everything about whether this Portugal squad can genuinely threaten to win the World Cup. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk and share this video because we are about to get to the Ronaldo question, and it is the one everyone in Portugal is asking, but nobody wants to say out loud. Part 6. Ronaldo. The elephant in the room. Cristiano Ronaldo is 41 years old. He is the oldest outfield player to start a World Cup match in the history of the tournament. Against Colombia, he played the full 90 minutes. He had opportunities. He did not score. Against DR Congo, he was goalless and criticized for failing to play a team game. Against Uzbekistan, he scored twice and broke the record for scoring in 6 different World Cups. Against Colombia, he went back to the DR Congo version. Quiet. Anonymous for long stretches. Unable to change the game. And here is the question that Portugal fans are dancing around, but not asking directly. Is Ronaldo the right choice to lead Portugal's attack in the knockout rounds? Before you think I am being disrespectful to the greatest Portuguese footballer of all time, let me be clear. This is not a question about his legacy. His legacy is settled. It is the greatest individual legacy in the history of this sport. This is a question about what is best for Portugal in this specific tournament at this specific moment. Ronaldo against Uzbekistan was brilliant. Sharp. Clinical. Hungry. The version of him that has been doing this for 23 years and refuses to stop. But Uzbekistan were a team whose goalkeeper was making saves for the first time at a World Cup. Croatia are not Uzbekistan. The questions about whether Ronaldo's pace, his pressing ability, his defensive contribution have declined significantly with age are valid questions. Martinez has stood behind him completely and publicly. That loyalty is admirable. But loyalty and pragmatism sometimes pull in different directions. If Martinez starts Ronaldo against Croatia and Portugal win, this conversation disappears. If Martinez starts Ronaldo and Portugal lose, his entire tenure as Portugal manager will be defined by that decision. That is the weight of the Colombia draw. It did not cost Portugal their place in the knockouts, but it raised every question about the coaching approach and the player selection that have been simmering since the DR Congo shock in Game 1. Part 7. What comes next? Portugal versus Croatia and the knockout reality. Portugal versus Croatia. Thursday, the 3rd of July. Toronto. BMO Field. Croatia have been solid throughout the group stage. They qualified from a group containing England, Ghana, and Panama. They are organized and experienced and know how to make knockout football uncomfortable for the teams they face. They will press Portugal. They will try to make it ugly. They will try to make it exactly the kind of match that suits their disciplined defensive structure. For Portugal to win that match, Martinez needs to make decisions. He needs to commit to an attacking approach from the first minute. He needs to give Bruno Fernandes the freedom to express himself in midfield without defensive responsibility, pulling him away from the positions he creates danger from. He needs Rafael Leo and Pedro Neto at their most aggressive and direct on the wings. And he needs to decide what role Ronaldo plays and how long he stays on the pitch if the goals are not coming. These are uncomfortable decisions, but they are the decisions that define whether Martinez has been building something at this tournament or just managing it. Portugal have the talent to beat Croatia. They have the talent to go further than the round of 32. They have the talent to be in the conversation for this World Cup if everything clicks. But talent without the right tactical approach at the right moment is just potential. And Portugal at this tournament have shown potential in bursts rather than sustained brilliance. The Colombia draw was a wake-up call. Not a disaster. Not an elimination. But a clear signal that something needs to change between now and Thursday in Toronto. The question is whether Martinez sees it the same way. That is the full breakdown. Colombia 0, Portugal 0. The tactical questions about Martinez. The goalkeeper who saved Portugal from something worse. The VAR call that denied Colombia a winner by inches. And the Ronaldo question that Portugal are going to have to answer one way or another before the Croatia match. What is your verdict? Was this draw the coach's fault, the player's fault, or just one of those nights? And should Martinez change his approach against Croatia or trust the same system? Drop everything in the comments. I read every single one. This has been Robert's Football Talk. Hit that like button, share this video with every football fan you know, and subscribe if you are not already part of this channel. New videos every single week, and Portugal's World Cup story is only just getting started. I will see you in the next one.